Welcome to the School of Public Policy's building dedication. Join us as we see what it means to have a new home for changing the world.
It is my great pleasure to celebrate this momentous milestone for the School of Public Policy.
We are here at the site of the School of Public Policy's new home. We are so excited to break ground on the new building.
The new building is a home. Being able to go to a space that is uniquely our own is going to be really great.
I just love that the new building is a great convening space for students where they'll be able to engage in experiential learning because after they graduate, they'll be thrown into real-world environments.
This building embodies the spirit of democracy because it will be home to all those who are committed to serving the public good and who go out and do good in the world.
Please welcome Dr. Darrell J. Pines, President of the University of Maryland.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the new home of the School of Public Policy. Right? Let's have another round of applause. You know, I was walking over here today, and I saw something new in the building, and I said, that's a code violation. And it said, change the world, it's our policy, and it's on the building. So Bob, we're gonna have to talk about this. You did not follow protocol. Once again, Bob Orr never follows protocol. I just had to say that, Bob, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm messing with you. I'm only messing with Bob because Bob is always like this. He's a hard-driving person, and this vision would not have been achieved without a person with a vision like Bob. But I'd like to also begin by thanking the friends and supporters who have joined us all today, including Senate President Bill Ferguson and House Speaker Adrian Jones. Give them a round of applause, please. And our distinguished alum, the founder of Beyond Meat, Mr. Ethan Brown. Give him a round of applause. President Ferguson and Speaker Jones, you are looking at a building that would not be possible without state support. The bright young minds that will be taught in this beautiful space may very well follow in your footsteps. They may next become the next Senate President or the next House Speaker or maybe even University President. Let's hope not. When those former students dream up, draft and vote on legislation that shapes the future of our state, they will have you two to thank. A special thanks is also in order for the following leaders. Former Prince George's County Executive, and he's here in the audience, Rashawn Baker. Give him a round of applause. Former Chancellor, former President, and current Faculty of Mathematics, Britt Kerwin. Give him a round of applause. Our many Board of Regents, if you can just wave your hand, give all of them a round of applause. And my boss and current Chancellor, Dr. Jay Perman. Thanks to each of you, as well as, of course, Dean Bob Orr and the other deans and vice presidents in attendance today. Your support has not only made this building possible, but has played a foundational role in our success and potential as a public research institution. At the start of this academic year, I've been telling students, faculty, and staff at every opportunity that now is the time to get involved. That although the grand challenges before us, climate change, pandemics, health disparities, gun violence, and threats to even the sanctity of our democracy may seem daunting, it is only through hard work of good people that we will make a better world going forward. And that's what it means to do good. I should have a round of applause for that. What's wrong with you? and that there is no better place to start shaping our future than at the University of Maryland and in the School of Public Policy. That there is no better group of people to make it happen than Terps. The School of Public Policy is where policymakers, researchers, and academics across disciplines can find common ground and break down the artificial silos that can keep us from working together. This beautiful building will, of course, be a great asset to our everyday teaching and learning. But it is also a symbol of the collective promise of our intelligence, fortitude, creativity, and integrity. A symbol of how we are taking on the responsibility of preparing and empowering the next generation of policy leaders and global citizens. Here is where we can bring them together at our campus to create change, and now I really want a round of applause, and force them to do good. Because, ladies and gentlemen, our Terps have long been known for being fearless. But the task ahead of us is now to move more fearlessly forward and take control of our destiny and our world. So I thank you all for your contributions to making this possible, and thank you for having me.
Please welcome Dr. Jennifer King Rice, Senior Vice President and Provost of the University of Maryland.
Thank you all, and thank you, President Pines, for those very inspiring words. It is wonderful to see you all here. Thanks for joining us, despite the weather. It is beautiful under this tent as we celebrate this new building. I also want to extend my appreciation to everyone who made this building possible. I especially want to thank Dean Bob Orr and his predecessors, Don Kettle, Steve Fetter, Susan Schwab, Michael Nacht, and founding Dean Al Balker. This new building is the product of this line of excellent and inspiring leaders, and it's a really good way to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the School of Public Policy here at the University of Maryland. Each new building constructed on our campus represents not only an investment in our university's infrastructure, but also an investment in our future. They not only allow for new spaces that permit innovative instruction and research, but also opportunities to reimagine the way we teach and learn and interact with one another. This is something that we've tasked ourselves to do in Fearlessly Forward, our new strategic plan, and we'll hold ourselves accountable for that. The innovations that you'll see when you tour this new building and the classrooms within it will lead to innovations our students will introduce in society. With this new home, the School of Public Policy has a platform to build up students who will have a direct influence on meeting the grand challenges of our time. By leveraging our location near Annapolis and Washington, D.C., the School of Public Policy has a wealth of opportunities to advance and support evidence-based policy that solves problems at the local, state, national, and global levels. This is a crucial part of how the University of Maryland will continue to be at the forefront of the government and nonprofit sectors and spread the message of doing good among our friends and neighbors, near and far. Thank you again for this investment and the continued confidence in our faculty, our staff, students, alumni, and community. I am excited to see the amazing things that will be accomplished here. Thank you.
Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Robert C. Orr, Dean of the School of Public Policy.
I really just want to take this in for a minute, so I won't say anything. I'm just going to stand here. 40 years ago, a handful of academics at the University of Maryland set out to create what they envisioned as, quote, a nationally recognized center of excellence in teaching, research, service, to help meet the needs of local, state, and federal governments. The school was to accomplish this mission through multidisciplinary programs that would develop the talents of all who were called to public service, including specifically and named minorities and women. The new school would not only seek to lead on the analytical, but also the normative and values-based side of public policy. Thank you, Peter Brown. Today, 40 years later, we are that recognized, nationally recognized center of excellence they envisioned, and much more. The School of Public Policy shapes leaders who shape our state, our nation, and our world. They are leaders not only in government, but also in the nonprofit and private sectors as well, with one very important thing in common: a burning desire to serve the common good. We are very proud of our students, and how could we not be, with thinkers and doers like Naomi Atohonu, who you will hear from shortly. Likewise, we are exceedingly proud of our alumni, like Ethan Brown, who inspire not only our current students, but also the faculty and staff of the school who absolutely live for the opportunity to change the world through helping shape future leaders and help them prepare to take on society's most vexing challenges, as Ethan has done. I want to thank our state leaders, including Speaker Jones and President Ferguson, who are here with us today, as well as their predecessors, Speaker Mike Bush and Senate President Mike Miller. The state of Maryland has not only supported our new home, this temple to public service, but has also invested directly in our mission to provide leadership education and opportunities to students of all backgrounds, in keeping with our inclusive founding vision. Thank you, Madam Speaker, Mr. President. It is deeply heartfelt. Thank you. I also want to thank our inspired, generous, and humble donors who have recognized that doing good in the world can take many forms, and who have supported our work developing leaders who serve the common good by leading in the nonprofit and philanthropic sectors as well. I am very proud to say our students not only do well, they do good. Bringing this amazing building to life would not have been possible without the excellent partnership with our architects at Leo A. Daley and the fearless and talented and very persistent Irina Savakova. Thank you, Irina. Sometimes we teach persistence in this building, and our architect showed what that looks like. I would be remiss if I did not also recognize generations of faculty, staff, students, and alumni who have collectively built this very special community of values, as well as incredible repository of knowledge and expertise in public policy. We truly stand on the shoulders of giants. Lastly, I would like to thank President Pines, Provost Rice, and Chancellor Perman for your incredible and unstinting support for the School of Public Policy. President Pines and Provost Rice have centered the entire university not only on taking on society's grand challenges, but in pursuing the public good, putting the public in our public mission. And that gives us not only this wonderful new home, it gives us colleagues all over the university that are pulling in the very same direction. Thank you. This building signals the beginning of a new era for the School of Public Policy. It houses and empowers a community that has more than doubled in size over the last 5 years. It also connects us to our surrounding community and the world, inspiring a global vision and bold action from the most local to the most global, and back again. Our next 40 years begins today with this tremendous coalition sitting here in front of me for positive change here assembled. We confidently and joyously look forward to rising to the challenges that the future will bring. Change the world, it's our policy. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Bill Ferguson, President of the Maryland Senate.
Good afternoon. They asked me to pick up that particular walk-up song, so I hope you enjoyed it. It is truly a pleasure to be here with you all. President Pines, as always, College Park impresses and does incredible things in big ways. Provost Rice, thank you for your leadership. It has been incredible and remarkable to see just the passion that has come to the University of Maryland. Dean Orr, thank you for your work on this particular building, but also for your work with the United Nations and your impact on the global society overall. It is proof of that we are very, very blessed to have incredible leaders that are at this institution and impacting the state of Maryland every day. And of course, Chancellor Perman, thank you for your leadership in helping to make sure that our flagship institution represents the power and promise that it should. And finally, I want to thank my colleague across the hall, Speaker Jones, who many of you know, and she will probably say herself, so I will not steal any of the line, but as Capitol Chair, has been a part of this project for a very, very long time and saw it from the very beginning. And so she deserves an extra level of thanks, both in her prior capacity and in her current capacity. And it's always a pleasure to work with her on the many issues that we get to face in the Maryland General Assembly. There's one other person I would like to thank, and I think it should come as no surprise, and that is my predecessor, Mike Miller, who many of you all knew very, very well, was the Senate President for 33 years, the longest-serving Senate President in the history of the United States in any state. It's a remarkable feat that 3 years in, I have absolutely no idea how he did it. But lo and behold, it's no secret that this was an important institution to him and that the University of Maryland College Park was, in his mind, a beacon of what Maryland can and should be. And this particular project, this building, this School of Public Policy was of a particular note of interest. And in his last year in office, this was one of the most important items that he wanted to make sure on that Budget and Tax Committee that it was fully funded to the penny to make sure there was no chance that this building would not get done on time. So I know he is looking down and smiling on the ribbon that will be cut today. And why did it matter to him? Very briefly, this is a wonderful space. It's incredible, and I'm so grateful to be here on behalf of the Senate to welcome this new space, this new incredible brick and mortar beacon of hope. But what I'm actually here for is what will happen inside. We're at a really precarious moment in our society, at a point in the United States where Pew survey said that 78% of people believe sincerely or very sincerely that the future of democracy is in jeopardy. That is a remarkable feat. However, we also live at a time where unbelievable young people on this campus every single day are coming up with unbelievable solutions to the world's most complicated problems. What makes public policy so special is that it touches everything, and it helps us to find our best selves. That's the goal, and that's what will happen because of today. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that had a part in this. Changing the world is of course the motto. What I am confident about today is that this building will be the hope that we need to turn the direction, not only for our country, but for the entire world. So thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and look forward to cutting the ribbon officially.
I now welcome to the stage the Honorable Adrian A. Jones, Speaker of the Maryland House of Delegates.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is a wonderful day. I say that because, as was mentioned by President Ferguson, For 16 years, I chaired the capital budget. So I always enjoy these types of opportunities and ceremonies because it means a project is finished. Now, I had the pleasure of attending the groundbreaking for this building with Senate President Mike Miller. And to me, it didn't seem that long ago, and I am honored to be here today to see this beautiful building completed. Today, ever more complicated and contentious policy environment demands that we have well-educated and thoughtful leaders to grapple with the difficult policy issues that we all face. It's my belief that the students being trained here at the University of Maryland School of Public Policy will take a leading role in both state and national policy debates and make us proud of their work. As part of my belief in the great work being done here in College Park, I was pleased last session that Delegate Ben Barnes and Senator Guy Guzzoni sponsored a bill that we passed, creating the Institute for Public Leadership here at the School of Public Policy. My predecessor, Speaker Mike Bush, might not have technically been a Terp, but he was dedicated to this campus' success and would be proud to see this building in use by students today. Much like Senate President Miller, this project was one of the last buildings that Speaker Bush helped move forward for the campus. And before I present the citation to the president, I do make my comments when I have these types of programs, and we were on the building's completion of capital budget. So I'm going to ask the president, is this project on time?
Yes.
Was it under budget?
I think so.
That's good. All right then, come forward and get your citation.
Okay.
And this is an official citation from the Maryland General Assembly. Be it hereby known to all that sincerest congratulations are offered to the University of Maryland School of Public Policy in recognition of the dedication of the new state-of-the-art building. This 77,000 square foot building will provide a home for students and faculty to exchange ideas, network, and discuss topics that will deal with complex topics facing our society. May the educational work that will be done inside these walls continue to help make not only the state of Maryland, but our nation and the world a better place to live.
Please welcome School of Public Policy student Naomi Atuhonu.
Good afternoon. I'm Naomi Atuhanu, a second-year Master of Public Policy student specializing in international security and economic policy. We come from different states and countries, and we're studying a variety of topics from energy policy to international security. And we each come with a variety of backgrounds ranging from math and science to government and politics. Despite our diverse backgrounds, I believe there is one word that explains why we're here as students, and that is impact. The University of Maryland brings together academics, scholars, and practitioners in a way that no other place can. It looks at public policy through the lens of driving real, on-the-ground applications and ultimately change. For me, as a Robertson Fellow, I came to Maryland to deepen my understanding of fundamental policy issues, why they exist, and how institutions and structures can encourage or hinder progress. In pursuit of my learning, I've been able to intern at the Government Accountability Office and now the U.S. Commercial Service to apply what I've learned at the federal stage. And I'm happy to report that despite the pain, the numerous policy memos have prepared me very well for all of these internships. But they've also opened my eyes to see that in every policy arena this school touches, there are countless challenges before us. It is up to this next generation of public policy students and institutions to grapple with some of the most complex problems we've ever faced as a state, country, and a global community. To me, this building physically symbolizes our unity as an institution built around that one common goal: impact. On behalf of our students and to all who made this building possible, thank you. Here's to many more generations entering these walls to find like minds with a passion for tackling the toughest policy challenges together. Thank you.
We are honored to be joined by Ethan Brown, University of Maryland alumnus and CEO of Beyond Meat.
Thank you very much. I have to say it's humbling to be here and to speak, and I appreciate so much the opportunity. Daryl, Bob, you guys give me energy just being here, and Chandrika, thank you for taking such good care of me. Where's Barbara Cronin? Barbara, your hug gave me like at least a year of juice. Like I love you, you know that. Thank you, David Crocker. Hey, it's wonderful to be here. This is being back home for me, and so I deeply appreciate it. As you know, I've been at the school for a long time. We joked last night I'm likely the only student in the school's history to attend classes in Lafrac, Morrill, and Van Munching. I plan to do it here too, Bob. I'd like to start my comments by talking a little bit about Morrill, because first as a youngster, it did make perfect sense to me that my dad, who I understood to be a professor of ethics, worked in a building called Morrill Hall. I didn't appreciate until later that it was for Senator Justin Morrill, and that it was spelled with R-R-I-L, not M-O-R-A-L. But Morrill Hall is an important place to start nonetheless. The Morrill Act of 1862 set a clear mandate for our country's great land-grant universities, of which we are the greatest. Granting each participating state 30,000 acres, proceeds from which the sale of could be used to fund or expand existing universities. The Morrill Act gave direction to teach such branches of learning as are related to agriculture and the mechanic arts. A fair question to ask, then as it is now, is to what end should these disciplines and other disciplines be directed? The answer then, as it is now, was in a word: progress. At the time of the Morrill Act, progress and manifest destiny were roughly interchangeable. The chosen people were spreading east to west, filling the earth, and subduing it, per Genesis. Fast forward a century, and victors in not one but 2 world wars, due to superior technical prowess and wealth, the United States, the balance of its academic institutions, and its government were now squarely aligned around a more secular notion of progress, one defined and measured by economic growth. It is in this context, as neoclassical economics tightened its grip on academia, that my father and colleagues founded the School of Public Policy, as well as the Institute for Philosophy and Public Policy. Importantly, in the school's founding, he was not seeking to replace one dogma with another. Instead, he was insisting that when we equip students with the tools of economics, budget analysis, and policy, and yes, these are tools, they're not roadmaps, we must avail them of ethics and science so we better understand not only where we should lead, but understand the implications of our journey, of our choices, our society, on the rest of life on Earth, and on the stability of Earth itself. You were not given this perspective in Cambridge, and you couldn't learn it in Austin, but you could learn it here at the University of Maryland. By the time I was a student at the school, what makes the institution so unique and important was in full swing. Along the third floor corridor, and I see some of the faculty here who occupied those locations, you could walk past my father's office to Herman Daly's, one of the fathers of ecological economics, to David Crocker's, a pioneer in ethics and economic development, to Bob Nelson, who wrote fascinating books on theology and economics, Sagoff, Sprinkle, Slater, Dessler, Fetter, the list goes on. Something special was happening, and people wanted to be part of it. At one point in my childhood, Thomas Schelling, who had won the Nobel Prize in economics, lived in our basement. I always wondered, was that by choice, Dad? Was the location in the basement?
We're still debating.
Okay. As he transitioned to the faculty at the school, it was and remains today a very, very special place. As a student at Van Munching, I worked on global climate frameworks. In my mind, I was serving a more distant generation of life. Fast forward to today, and that generation sits across from me at the table, my own children. I'm painfully aware that 50% of the greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere today have been emitted in my lifetime. And as such, I sit perpetrator to victim. This awareness intensifies a sense of urgency and makes me grateful for the purposeful and expansive leadership of Dean Orr as he and his colleagues educate a new generation of students. You see, we will not solve climate by waiting on governments to act. Herein lies the importance of the Do-Good Institute, the Center for Global Sustainability, and other public-private sector initiatives that Bob is championing. Shortly after I graduated, I sat in the office of a founder of a very well-known investment brokerage house. We discussed environmental issues, and he shared that he had never had success combining cause and business. Like the robber barons of old, he thought it better to amass his wealth and then distribute it to charitable causes. We simply do not have time to pursue that model anymore. So today, as students come to study here, they are first and foremost policy entrepreneurs. They will be equipped with normative and scientific insights to chart their course and policy and economic tools to drive impact in either the public or private sector, or like me, in both at various stages in their career. This is what the world needs, and this is what Bob and his colleagues in this school are delivering. I'll wrap up by encouraging us to be, as our motto suggests, fearless. Fearless in restoring the public trust, fearless in protecting the vulnerable in our country and our global society, fearless in extending the circle of ethical consideration, now narrowly confined to our species, to the rest of life on Earth, as the science of Darwin and the ethics of Schweitzer would want us to do. Fearless in your pursuit of truth, unencumbered and undeterred by dogma or the passive acceptance of tradition or the way the world is. Be fearless in changing the world and in writing the next chapter in human evolution toward a more just and inclusive society. I want to thank you, Dad, for your fearless vision that this building houses. Bob, for your fearless stewardship of the school. And President Pines, for your fearless leadership of this great university. Thank you all.
We are proud to officially dedicate the University of Maryland's newest academic building on campus, the School of Public Policy Building. Thank you, honored guests, for joining us today. The building is now open for self-guided building tours and light refreshments.